जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोधनंदन व्रज जनरंजन यशोधनंदन व्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. युगधर्म हरिनाम संकीर्तन की, शील प्रभुपाद की। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं, देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया, भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 5, Lord Rishabhadev's teaching to his sons, text 31. So it's a prose, so we'll directly go to word to word meaning. Ati Sukumara,
Ati Sukumara,
very delicate.
very delicate.
Kara,
Kara,
hands.
hands.
Charana,
Charana,
feet.
feet.
Urasthala,
Urasthala,
chest.
chest.
Vipula,
Vipula,
long.
long.
Bahu,
Bahu,
arms.
arms.
Amsa,
Amsa,
shoulders.
shoulders.
Jala, Gala,
Gala,
neck.
neck.
Vadana,
Vadana,
face.
face.
Adi,
Adi,
and so on.
and so on.
Avayava,
Avayava,
limbs.
limbs.
Vinyasaha,
Vinyasaha,
properly situated.
properly situated.
Prakriti,
Prakriti,
by nature.
by nature.
Sundara,
Sundara,
lovely.
lovely.
Swabhava,
Swabhava,
natural.
natural.
Hasa,
Asa,
with smiling.
with smiling.
Sumukha,
Mukha,
his beautiful mouth.
his beautiful mouth.
Navan Nalina Dalayamana,
Navadalina dalayamana.
appearing like a petals of a new lotus flower.
Appearing like the petals of a new lotus flower.
Shishira,
Shishira,
taking away all miseries.
taking away all miseries.
Tara,
Tara,
the irises.
Irisis.
Aruna,
Aruna,
reddish.
reddish.
Ayakta,
Aruna,
spread wide.
spread wide.
Nayana,
Nayana,
with eyes.
with eyes.
Ruchiraha,
Ruchiraha,
lovely.
lovely.
Sadrasha,
Drisha,
such.
such.
Subhaga,
Subhaga,
beauty.
beauty.
Kapola,
Kapola,
forehead.
forehead.
Karna,
Karna,
ears.
ears.
Kantha,
Kantha,
neck.
neck.
Nasaha,
Nasaha,
his nose.
his nose.
Vigudasmita,
Vidurasmita,
by deep smiling.
by deep smiling.
Vadana,
Vadana,
by his face.
by his face.
Utsavena,
Maha Utsavena,
appearing like a festival.
appearing like a festival.
Pura Vanitanam,
Pura Vanitana,
of women within household life.
of women within household life.
Manasi,
Manasi,
in the heart.
in the heart.
Kusuma Sarasaram,
Kusuma Sarasanam,
Cupid.
Cupid.
Upadadhanaha,
Upadadanaha,
awakening.
awakening.
Parak,
Prak,
all around.
all around.
Avalambamana,
Avalambamana,
spread.
spread.
Kutila,
Kutila,
curly.
curly.
Jatila,
Jatila,
matted.
matted.
Kapisha,
Kapisha,
brown.
brown.
Kesha,
Kesha,
of hair.
of hair.
Bhuri Bharaha,
Bhuri Bharaha,
possessing a great abundance.
possessing a great abundance.
Avadhuta,
Avadhuta,
neglected.
neglected.
Malina,
Malina,
dirty.
dirty.
Nija Sharirena,
Nija Sharirena,
by his body.
by his body.
Grahitaha,
Graha Grahitaha,
haunted by a ghost.
haunted by a ghost.
Eva,
Eva,
as if.
as if.
Adrishyata,
Adrishyata,
he appeared.
he appeared.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Lord Rishabdev's hands, feet and chest were very long. His shoulders, face and limbs were all very delicate and symmetrically proportioned. His mouth was beautifully decorated with his natural smile, and he appeared all the more lovely with his reddish eyes spread wide like the petals of the newly grown lotus flower covered with dew in the early morning. The irises of his eyes were so pleasing that they removed all the troubles of everyone who saw him. His forehead, ears, neck, nose, and all his other features were very beautiful. His gentle smile always made his face beautiful, so much so that he even attracted the hearts of the married women. It was as though they had been pierced by arrows of Cupid. About his head was an abundance of curly, matted brown hair. His hair was dish, dish, disheveled because his body was dirty and not taken care of. He appeared as if he was haunted by a ghost. Purport. Although Lord Rishabdev's body was very much neglected, his transcendental features were so attractive that even married women were attracted to him. His beauty and dirtiness combined to make his beautiful body appear as though it were hunted by a ghost. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादां सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनामिने गौरतिशवे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौरांगी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यईश्वरं। हरि ओम तत्सत्। Hare Krishna. So today's verse, it describes about the beauty of Lord Rishabdev, transcendental beauty, and the bodily features, transcendental bodily features of the Rishabdev. So here in the translation it was nicely giving the describe the features of the Lord's body. We can see there are two parts of the translation here. So first part it was describing the beauty of the Lord transcendental body, and the other part it is describing about how he is ugly also. Means we can see that there is a beauty part and even also the ugly means dirty part. But how can these two come together? So when we think about the materialistic body, these two doesn't exist. Means either one exists, so two at a time doesn't exist. But when it comes to the absolute truth, so this can be clarified. Yes, both can be exist simultaneously together. So because in the Brahma Samhita we can see Lord is said as he is a very old but still he is young, right? In Brahma Samhita it is described. So how can a person be very old but still he is young? So it's a difficult to understand for a materialistic or a material body doesn't exist for that. But but when it comes to the transcendental body of the Lord, so it exists. So here we see like how Lord's hands, feet, chest were very long, and whenever in the Bhagavatam we see whenever the features of the Lord is being described, so we can see like the Ajanu Lambita Bhujau. So even for the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu it is described like Lord's hand was like very long, they were touching to the knees, and the whole shoulders were very wide and chest was very broad. So when it comes to the bodily features of the Lord, so we can see like everywhere it is mentioned same, so there is no difference. So here you can see Lord Rishabdev, he is a Shaktavesh avatar. So here Lord's body also described in the same way. So because he is not different from the Lord, so and there are so many beautiful descriptions of the body, like how his eyes were being decorated and how big they are touching to the ears, and eyes were looking like a reddish lotus petals, fleshly bloom. So like that they are being described here. So and when it comes to the, we can see like the beauty is such a attractive that even the household women were getting attracted to his beauty. So then even a Cupid was being attracted to his beauty, and then when in the translation here it is described also like how the hair was like, it was said about his head, his head was an abundance of curly matted brown hair. So we see like in our generally there are two ways, means especially the people who are renounced. So either they cleanly shave their head or they leave their hair like that without any care, because they don't take care of their hair so much, and because of that either they shave their head or either they leave the hair without taking any care. Like in our ISKCON we see like we generally shave completely, we keep the shika and we shave our head, because in our acharyas, previous acharyas, we can see Prabhupada and other acharyas, they used to keep their head clean, so they used to shave completely. So we also follow the same, and even Prabhupada also says like every monthly once at least you please shave. So in many conversations we can hear this, Prabhupada used to say like don't be hippies, don't grow your hair like hippies, like shave it and keep it clean. So Prabhupada says that. And one more aspect is like people there who are renounced, like they don't have any time to take care of their hair, just they leave as it is. They don't spend time. Nowadays we can see people, they spend a lot of time, money, and a lot of cosmetics they use to maintain their hair. They put a lot of oil, they put a lot of gels to maintain their hair, right? So but people who are like who are in this renounced order of life, they generally won't don't spend much time to take care of these things. So they leave as it is. However it grows, so let it grow. So they don't take care of it. They don't even put oil or groom their hairs like that. So what happens for a certain period of time when they don't take care? So the dust and the other dust particles, when it sit on the hair, so after some time it becomes entangled and it will become a matted hair. So where you can't even try to entangle, means you can't even remove that entanglement. So we can see like when devotees they have shikas, so sometimes they don't know how to take care of their shika. so maintain it. So they also come to this, like, the end part of Shika becomes brown, and there we can see a lot of entanglement, and it is difficult. Finally they have to cut the Shika, little bit of that wherever it is entangled. So because it is, we can say, like, devotees doesn't have much time to take care of that, so they are completely into, preaching activities. So what happens, they don't get time to maintain the Shika. So these are the two things, like, especially when it comes to us, like, we generally keep our head clean, so we remove all the hair. So and we even in the, it is said, like, lavanyam kesha dharanam, it is said in Kali Yuga people's beauty is being seen in the hair. So we generally don't want to get attracted to the beauty of this worldly beauty. So what we do, we give up those kind of things by shaving our hair, and we get attracted to the Lord's beauty, right? Even we see, like, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he take to sannyas, he also shaved his head, keeping an example, setting an example at how we should be, how a devotee should be. So only in that we are the followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so we also shave our head, giving up this beauty and trying to get attract to the beauty of the Lord Krishna. So it is seen, it is said, see, this all the transcendental bodily features is being described such a way that ultimately we want to get attract to the bodily features of the transcendental bodily features, beauty of the Lord. So only whenever we go for the darshan of the Lord, we try to take the full darshan of the Lord and see the beauty of the Lord, and see the ornaments, what he is wearing, how he is wearing, and see the lotus feet of the Lord, everything, so that we put the Lord in our heart and we remember him all the time. So only you can see devotees, whenever they go in front of the Lord, so they stare at the Lord for the quite long time, so that they can fix the Lord in their heart. So it is the one of the anga of the bhakti, like, we have to take darshan of the Lord. That's what in the deity worship also we do. So we generally each and every part of the Lord we see and we take darshan, and we try to put that form of the Lord in our heart, so that we can remember the Lord. So we, like, it's a good practice for us whenever we go for darshan, so to see the transcendental features of the Lord and keep that Lord form in our heart. So only it is nicely described here, whenever Lord appears, so first they describe about the transcendental beauty form of the Lord, so that we can remember the Lord's beauty, and we can see that same beauty in the Aksha Vigraha, and we can remember the Lord, and we can fix the Lord in our heart. So here we can see, like, Lord is having this kind of transcendental beauty, but he sees, like, there are so many what we call so many people getting attracted, women especially getting attracted to his beauty. So as a Avaduta, he has taken this like role as a Avaduta. So he started not to take care of his body completely. So only his body is being filled with dirt, and his hair was not taken care, so it became a matted brown hair. So in this way, but still, and he looks like a haunted ghost. No, he was wandering, so he looks like a haunted ghost. But we see, like, this is not generally. So it is what Rishabdev was trying to avoid the company of the worldly minded people. So he was trying to act as a Avaduta. And in the further slokas we can see, like, further extent it is been said, like, how to avoid the people to come near to him. He started he acted like a python. Python means, like, the place where he is staying, he just lie down there, and whatever comes to him he eats, or he just fasts. And he passed stool and urine there only, and he rolled in that place only, and he made that stool, his own stool, to his body. So it may look like, when we hear, it may look like very disgusting, but we should not forget this, like Lord's body is transcendental, and his urine and stool also, like transcendental. It doesn't smell like how we we generally do it. So even though we can see, like our sweat smells very badly, right? Taste also very salty. So but when we see, like when Mahadev, he killed Hiranyaksha, so when after the fight, he was lot of sweat coming from him, so that sweat fall in the male kote, so it became a lake, small pond, and that water tastes very sweet. So Lord's body is so transcendental, so it doesn't, like appear like us, like it is completely different, transcendental. But people who doesn't have the understanding of a Avaduta, they generally think like he is a haunted, like a ghost, or he is smearing stool of his own, which is very bad or disgusting. So but it is not. So we should not misunderstood or take it wrongly. So, and here we can see the dirt which is there on the body of the Lord, it is adding more beauty to the Lord. So there are so many instances in the Bhagavatam, it is described about how these things are adding more beauty to the Lord. So for example, we can see Lord Krishna when in the battlefield, so when he was fighting with Bhishmadev, so when he was approaching Bhishmadev to kill, so Bhishmadev was throwing a lot of arrows and wounding the Lord's body, and we can see Lord was bleeding, his body, blood was coming out from his body, and we can see, like Lord's body is so transcendental, why blood is coming, and why Lord is affected by these arrows. But it's a part of a role, like he was acting that pastime. So if in case, like Lord's body is transcendental, it's transcendental, but if Bhishmadev is shooting arrows and nothing happens to the Lord, then no, and Lord Krishna says to Bhishmadev, how many arrows you throw, nothing happens to me, so your effort is going waste, so why you are taking a lot of this one? But to just satisfy the devotee's desire, so he just enacted that pastime. And you can see, like Bhishmadev also prays to the Lord, saying that I want to remember this form of body, this form in my heart, and like that he prays. And you can see, like Lord is in that picture is nicely, the painting has been nicely drawn, like we can see Lord's mukut has fallen down, and his upper garments are falling down, and Arjuna was stopping Krishna not to, like kill Bhishmadev, and Bhishmadev was shotted arrows on his body, and you can see that blood oozing out from the body, and he was being wounded. So but you can see those things are adding more beauty to the Lord. So there are two things. One is, like it is called abhushan. Abhushan means, like it's a ornament, and one more is called dhushanam. Dhushanam means called the dirt. So here for the Lord's body, here dirt is adding as a abhushan to the Lord. So it is adding more beauty to the Lord. So in that pastime also, in the Krishna's pastime, killing the Bhishmadev, so there also the wounds which are there on the body of the Lord, it is glorified as a abhushan to the Lord. So here also the dirt which is there on the body of the Lord Rishabdev, it is giving more beauty to the Lord. And we can see in the Kardama Muni pastime also, when Kardama Muni was doing lot of tapasya, so there was an ant hill around him, and in the descriptions we can see like his beauty is being glorified very nicely. Even though you can't see when the ant hill is being covered the body, you can't see the person, right? But still in the Bhagavatam it is nicely mentioned like how nice his beauty was. And Acharyas describe saying that the fire covered with a lot of dried leaves. So when dried leaves are kept more on the fire, generally we don't see the fire, but still fire is there, and within no time the fire will take over the leaves. Similarly here that was a beauty. The anthill was there covering the body of the Kardama Muni. So that was a beauty. It was ornament which is been offered to the Kardama Muni. Similarly here, Rishabdev's body was also covered with the dirt, and he looks like he is not completely taking care of his body, and he looks like a ghost haunted. So people outside they generally go to astrologers to see like which planet is acting like affecting their life. Generally these planets have effect on a particular person, like each person have different effect of the planets. So they go to astrologers and they see which planet is having much effect on them. So but for the devotees, they don't get affected by these kind of planets, but they'll get affected by only one planet, that is called Krishna Graha. So Prahlad has been said like this, like he was being completely haunted by the Krishna planet. So he was completely become a devotee of the Lord, and no other planets are working on him. So similarly here, so devotees generally they get affected by the Krishna prem. So but the people who don't have these kind of understanding, they think like he is being completely haunted as a ghost, haunted by a ghost. And we see there are three stages of a devotee bhakta, it is said. So that is, one is Sanishtata Bhakta. Sanishtata Bhakta means the one who is practicing but doesn't have any realization. He is just still practicing a devotee. So one more is like Parinishta Bhakta. So he is a perfected devotee. His life is perfected, but still he is in this material world. So for example, like Prahlad Maharaj, so he is a perfected devotee, so he is a pure devotee of the Lord, but still he is there in this planet just to do bhakti. So that's all. So and like that we have so many examples like Prahlad, Dhruva, and Yudhishthira Maharaj, Janak Maharaj, and Ambarish Maharaj. So they are all Pranishita Bhaktas. And third is Nirapekshita Bhaktas or Avadutas. So this is the Lord Rishabdev. He is a person is least bothered what is happening around him, and he doesn't get affected by the things what are happening around him. So he is Avaduta. So like for example, in our Guru Parampara we have one Avaduta. Who is that? No, in our Guru Parampara. Yeah, Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj. So Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj was Avaduta, and he was to just avoid the worldly minded people, he used to go in a filthy place and sit there and chant. So no one can do that. So only he was able to do that because he was least bothered about what is there around him. So because people used to come to him, so they used to ask so many material benedictions from him. So he was very much worried, like he was very much disturbed by those kind of people. So to avoid them, he generally goes to these filthy places and he used to chant there, just to avoid these kind of people, worldly minded people. So it's difficult to understand or difficult to practice also, but for us Prabhupada has given simple things. So one is association of devotees, so we can be there with the likely minded devotees and practice nicely spiritual activities like chanting, whatever it is. So no need to practice these kind of exalted things. So those are very impossible for us. So best is to be with the like-minded devotees. Try to avoid materialistic devotees who are having material desires. So and be with the devotees and practice nicely Krishna consciousness. That is only what we can do in this age, in this Kali Yuga, and Prabhupada has already given this. So we can be there around the devotees, take their association, and be enthusiastic and continue our spiritual practice. With this, I will just pause today's class. So any questions, comments, corrections?
So this aspect of the Lord, that everything gets reconciled in Him, that beauty and ugliness can simultaneously be found in Him. So that was nice, this one. So this brings about one of the nice aspects of the transcendental quality of the Lord. So everything becomes reconciled in the personality of the Lord. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Krishna Bro, thank you very much for such a nice class. You helped us to go through so many different pastimes and meditate on various aspects, the bodily features of the Lord. You made this point that we give up our beauty to get attracted to Lord Krishna's beauty. So that's what is the aspiration. So wherein we don't want to take care of ourselves as much as possible, we try. And we want to get attracted to the Lord and gratify Krishna's senses. And it's very nice the way you described that even dirt becomes abhushan on the body of the Lord. Even the blood droplets becomes abhushan on the body of the Lord. That pastime which you mentioned when Lord Krishna is running towards Bhishma Dev. So Bhishma Dev is glorifying that how his upper garment fell down and how the dust from the hoof of the horses was on the hair of the Lord, and Lord was looking very beautiful. So actually this shows that we can never become God. We are so dirty. As you rightly mentioned, our sweat, that itself, is so, it's so difficult for people to sustain around. We can kill people just by sweating. And look at Lord, how amazing that even his sweat, even his stool, urine, and so many other things also, blood, everything is so transcendental, and it adds to his beauty, Abhushan. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you very much for the nice class. So very nicely you described the beauty of the Lord. So it is night whenever we come in front of the Lord, stay for some time. Take the look from top to bottom of the Lord, and whatever the ornaments he's wearing, decoration, whatever flowers. So this will help us to keep in the mind about the Lord's beauty, form, everything, to meditate upon it, so that unnecessary thoughts won't come. And one more point which I am contemplating, the point which there, that Rishabdev was just going on, and all the people around thinking that this is a madman haunted by ghost. So not understanding the glory of Rishabdev, he is Lord himself, they are not. So I'm just contemplating that around devotees we also have. Sometimes the mistakes may be happening, but still they are glorious. So they are dedicated their lives. They are chanting Hare Krishna mantra every day. They are hearing Bhagavatam, everything. So they are very glorious. Sometimes mistakes happen. It will happen for me also individually. But should we always know their glory. They are serving Krishna. So they are very, very dear to Krishna. Should be proper and respect to each and everyone. So this is my contemplation. Thank you, Puji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanavad Pranam. So you're describing about the Lord's beautiful form, beautiful feature of the Lord's beautiful eyes, hair, nose, all these features. And but he was very beautiful, but he was very very old person. But still he was like a young boy. So he was always beautiful, always like looking like a young boy. So his bodily future is very beautiful. So if we simply contemplate on that on bodily future, and we can see the deity form of the Lord, and we can always think about Lord, remember about Lord, then it is very good to our mind to it is nice. And in this Kali Yuga, you are talking about the keeping long hair is like a fashion in this Kali Yuga. So people are keeping long hairs. So should not keep long hair, just like you mentioned, project. And long shika. Then one more point is saying, Prabhuji, devotees are hunted by the Krishna Graha. In the outside, people are hunted by some other grahas or some other things like. But devotees never bother anything about trouble in her life or something. But devotees hunted by the Krishna Graha only. They could not give up Krishna and could not give up devotional service. If he is stuck in devotional service, if he understand what is the goal of real life, then he couldn't give up this. Even if he wanted to give up, but Krishna didn't give them. They'll bring him back to the again in this in the line circle of devotees association. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhu, for the wonderful class. So, my takeaway from this class is you had mentioned very nicely in the end, towards the end of the class, that we don't have to struggle so much for practicing spiritual life. Already Srila Prabhupada had struggled and he gave the essence of everything, and he gave the simple process. So if we simply stick to that process, then our life will be successful and we will attain perfection in our spiritual life. This is a very nice point. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, आपने बताया कि किसे कोई डिवोटी जो रहते हैं जो जाके भगवान का पास 10 मिनट आधा घंटा भी खड़ा होके वो भगवान को देखते रहते हैं और उनका कंtemplate करते रहते हैं, और वो चाहते हैं कि वो जो लॉर्ड भगवान का फॉर्म है वो कैसे उनका हार्ट में आ जाए, तो कभी बाद में भी वो कभी भगवान से दूर जाते हैं तो फिर भी उसको कंtemplate करते हैं. वो बहुत अच्छा है. हरे कृष्ण.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you for nice class. So Prabhuji, you described regarding the transcendental body features of Lords. So you had also given so nice examples towards Vishwadeva and Lord Krishna. So how that devotees wants to put his Lord's images on his heart, and also Lord in the same times Lord also want to put some certain example towards the devotees like how it should be. And also second point you told like the dust, like how it is like addition as a abhushan and it is creating the more beautiful towards the Lord. And this point regarding the parinishta bhakta and nirapeksha bhakta, this what is this difference between this? I have little doubts on that. You told like parinishta bhakta also is a perfect devotee and given the example of Prahlad Maharaj, and the nirapeksha bhakta also just like Rishabdev now given. Both are in avadhuta stage, both are also platform of like self-realization things. Anyhow, it's Lord. So what is this difference? This both.
We have already been already described.
Mm-hmm.
Like avdutas, they don't preach.
Mm-hmm.
So, but Paranishta Bhaktas like Prahlad Maharaj,
Hmm.
you can see like he was into preaching.
Okay.
So he was sharing whatever his realizations,
Mm-hmm.
whatever he has learned
Uh-huh.
from superiors, he was sharing. But here avdutas, they don't. We can't even predict like what is their mood.
Uh-huh.
So
Nirapakshita bhakta means he will not preach this kind of things. Means pari. Yes. Then here also like my point, just doubt.
see,
Is it?
avdutas,
Uh-huh.
what my understanding is like you can't take a example of a avduta and you follow him
Uh-huh.
because you never like come to know what is their mood, how they will behave in what situations. So, but they are completely detached to this material world. So they are least bothered what is happening. But devotees, they are bothered, like they are going out and preaching. They are teaching. They are bringing the souls back to the Krishna. So they are doing that. So and we can follow them. Like, we get inspired by their activities, by seeing how nicely they are doing with Krishna consciousness and how they are fixed up devotees. So by seeing them, we can follow them. But outsiders, we can't follow. Very difficult. It is said, like even Haridas Thakur was like not able to understand Nityananda. So they are being both sent out for the preaching by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Haridas Thakur comes back and says, like, no, I can't go with this Avadhuta. Because who knows what is going to act, and always Haridas Thakur used to get beatings. So it is difficult to follow an Avadhuta, but it is easy to follow a devotee.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
Joy.